Hi, this is Filiberto Amati, and I'm here today with Elisabetta Borghi. Welcome,
Nice to meet you.
Elisabetta, and our esteemed guest, Natalie Johson, co-founder of Neuno.
Hello.
Betty, first question
Yes.
for you.
We decided to invite you because recently there's a lot of hype around NFTs. A lot of people is trying to figure out what they are, what's happening, and some of them are thinking about there is also a risk of bubble scans. Can you just tell us more or less what's happening and how to identify a serious project from a scam?
Yes, it's a great question. We have this huge interest in NFTs over the last year. And, I think you'd have to be hiding under a rock not to even hear the phrase. Maybe you don't know much about it, but they're everywhere. And last year, we saw a lot of involvement with the art space. This was really, really dominant. Then towards the end of the year, we had lots of NFTs in things called PFPs, or character projects. So it's like a profile picture project. So this is really where a lot of the hype came. And we had a few hugely successful NFT projects that did millions and millions of dollars, garnered hundreds of thousands of followers and attention. And so obviously, naturally, like in the real world, there's scammers. People want to come along and they want a piece of this action. So I myself have actually fallen victim to a scam, and I tried to buy an NFT and I went to the wrong URL. I went to .com, but the real one was something like .io, and they'd made the exact website, the complete replica, used all the same imagery, minting. So I quickly minted, and then no NFT came, and I was like, oh dear. So, look, the best advice, there's a lot of lingo in the NFT space, and one is called DYOR, and it's do your own research. So how to avoid this is usually a lot of NFT projects, very good ones, have Discord channels. In those Discord channels, they have all the official links. So never stray, never click anywhere other than these links. We also have something called doxing. So this is where you can find out everyone that's involved in the project. You can see the team members. You can go and have a look at them. Are they real people? Are they fake? And you can really find out if you believe in the project. So really, really do your own research. Is this just a beautiful art that is just going to be a rug pull, or is this truly a community that is coming to build something for many years, that has many activations, has a strong roadmap? You can see they've already achieved some things and they're legit. So, if it's just some random person, don't really feel good about it, then step away.
Even though it's new, it is something like the financial market. So the people are obliged to recollect information before investing because
100%. And we're seeing lots of projects, they look big because they buy followers, they buy people to come in their Discord. So you go in and there's tens of thousands and you think, okay, well, this must be legit, but it's all fake. So you really, really, really have to do your research. Don't just be caught up in headlines, because even the biggest projects, we've seen people buy in and then suddenly the floor price drops, or it's something called a rug pull where the people just take the money out and they disappear and it's gone forever. So really, really do your research. Look for other credible people in the industry that maybe are backing the project, and do not part with any money that you cannot afford to lose. Yeah, basically.
Let's come to the art of your presence here today. We decided to invite you because you are considered one of the most important women in the NFT space. So I would like to talk about your project in particular. What is Neuno? Why you decided to embrace this particular career, and what are your objectives and vision for the short term?
Yes, so I am Natalie, the founder of Neuno. So fully doxed, you can find me, you can read all about me. I come from the fashion industry. I was a buyer for many, many years. And I mean, if you told me I would have a company selling NFTs, I wouldn't even know what you were talking about. I didn't really know what they were myself almost, 18 months ago. And now I have a company selling them. So it's crazy. But I come from fashion. I see how that works. I moved into tech 5 years ago, and my career just sort of evolved into this space with digital fashion. And then I just saw this opportunity with blockchain and NFTs. And, people are already investing in fashion, especially luxury fashion, where we sort of sit in the luxury streetwear sort of space, because this really is where a lot of energy is at the moment. And you can invest in if you're saving up to buy, say, a Gucci handbag, if you could get the NFT of this and almost have this as a digital asset for yourself, whatever happens to this handbag, you might give it to your children, you might sell it, who knows, but you will have this digital asset of that handbag that might actually be worth a lot of value in years to come. So if we think about it as I heard someone use an example once of, the Nirvana album back in the 90s. If you actually had an NFT of that album, and every time it was being played, over 30 years, the contract was set up so that the fans and the initial investors of the NFTs were getting kickbacks and royalties, you would be laughing, 30 years later. So if you backed a fashion piece that became an icon or a piece of the moment, or something happened, like Naomi Campbell when she fell on the catwalk, and it becomes this iconic moment of fashion history that you could own and you could be part of, this really could be a valuable asset for you. So we have a marketplace that sells fashion, NFT collectibles. So this could be pieces of art, visual, campaign shoots, all of this type of thing, as well as digital wearables. So we really try to appeal to that art collector that's very native in the NFT space, but we're also trying to appeal to the gamer who might want to come and buy a branded asset as an NFT and wear it as skins in multiple games. Now, technology is not there yet where it needs to be, and interoperability between these different worlds is all very manual at the moment and bespoke. We need this to be scalable and really, really simple and convenient for customers, and it's nowhere near that yet, but it will come with time. So, we just really wanted to build something and be this destination for branded fashion, because if each fashion brand tries to tackle this on their own with a different solution, different games they partner with, different blockchains, different wallets, it gets very divided and it gets very messy, and it's not mainstream yet. This is still incredibly niche as an industry, even though it's gaining momentum. It's very, very niche. And so we see the opportunity to make it a destination, a very easy, convenient, for the time being, as convenient as we can be, and helping people get into the fashion space with us.
What is the difference between an asset and a token?
Well, tokens tend to be where people, it's almost like raising funds for a company. So you can do a token round, and it means you don't need to necessarily involve investors and traditional VCs. You actually build your community and an army of people that want to back you, and you raise funds for the company with the token. They're widely popular, and they're quite, it's a whole economy. It's quite complicated to get going, but there are companies that have done this well. For the fashion space, there's one called the Red DAO. I would check that out, and that's the token. For NFTs, this is more individuals that want to buy an asset that they will see grow in value. So an NFT could be a skin of, a Versace dress or a Gucci handbag or something like this. It's usually a recognizable piece of collateral that's got, for us, it's in line with the brands.
Great. one of the leitmotif of your conversation of what you said just until now, as an example, you said 18 months ago I didn't know what an NFT was, and now I am an NFT space entrepreneur. So we went from the what to the NFT being a staple of the Web3 as one of probably it's the most known example of the development of the web. Things are changing very rapidly. How do you keep the pace of change? How do you keep, being an entrepreneur? Of course, there is one part which is knowledge and curiosity, but how do you keep choosing the direction for your business in a space which is emerging so rapidly? You mentioned we're focusing art on one end, but we're also focusing the gamers on the other. Those are two different segments. So how do you make sure that you keep your strategy coherent while tapping into these emerging opportunities?
Yes, I mean, this NFT space moves at rapid speed. I've been in tech for the last 5 years in different startups, but this space is crazy. If you take 2 days off the internet and you don't read things, you're behind. So how I keep up is every day I read. I'm on social media. I consume a lot from Twitter, from LinkedIn, and just the general news. I look at what competitors are doing. I look at what brands are doing and different industries. So I really make sure that every day I am at the top of what's going on.
So and how do you keep all these, big data of information relevant to your business? Because at the end of the day, you can't be doing everything.
100%, and you will get lost if you try to do everything. So we have been approached with so many different opportunities, and we always come back, look, does it have a fashion element? There's many conjoining spaces, beauty, music, but we strictly say, look, for now we have to establish ourselves as fashion. We can go into other areas maybe in the future, but we have to stay strong on our course. And with NFTs, the opportunities are wild. We can do so many different things. It's like, if you can think it, you can build it. But we don't want to go too abstract too soon, because it's still niche and we don't want to lose the audiences. So for us with fashion, it's a beautiful space because it has quite often a physical component. And so we try and bring that in, because not every industry can do that at the moment. But with what we're doing, with a lot of this digital art, it only exists in that space. But with what we're doing is we might have a sneaker, and they could be a real sneaker that people can invest in both the digital and the real. And so we always try to keep a foot in both lands to try and be as commercial as possible. We don't want to be too abstract. And it's tempting to just take, every opportunity that comes at you, but you have to say, what's on our roadmap, and we've got it clearly sort of listed there on the website. And opportunities that come, does it fit in this roadmap? And if it doesn't, we park it, we come back to it, but we have to stay, for us, it's just about building relationships with the brands and keeping the community excited about the long-term journey.
Talking about communities, can we express what is the concept of those communities? How do they work? How a brand can take benefits, and how the community can take the benefits in all of this activity?
Yes, for sure. So community, without our community, we really are nothing. And it's much more than just customers that are coming to buy your item and that, on Discord, it's like a 24-hour hotline. And so you literally can talk, get ideas, get feedback, have fun, build relationships with these this community that want to be involved with you. There are events that we're putting on, and they contribute, they introduce you to other communities, they introduce you to brands they want to see, and they really are involved. Like they ask for roles, what can I do, how can I be useful? So they really, it's almost like this organism in nature where you see these powerful sort of species come together, and they go forward, and they go further together. And it's kind of that vibe, rather than we're a shop, we're putting up something, we hope it sells, see you later, come back for the next one. It's much more involved, it's much deeper, and you actually can build relationships with the community. So I heard someone in the space say, if you're calling your community your customers, you're already doing it wrong. And I didn't really get that, and now we're building our community. I truly understand that and feel that. So it's a big opportunity to do business in a new way.
Mhm.
Thinking about the community, I have a follow-up. What's the role of influencers in the community? Because there is especially in the NFT space, in the more mainstream, there is a lot of evangelization by very well-known either people, actors, or entrepreneurs. So what is the role, and what's the threshold where you can be comfortable with or not?
Yeah, look, like the real world, they're great because it exposes, what you're doing to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people. For me, the gray area comes kind of back down to do your own research. Is this influencer just being paid to put this notification up? Do they really care about the community? Are they really interested? Or are they literally just banking their checks so they can pay their rent? And so it's really hard to find authentic. And as this movement grows, we're seeing more and more influencers. It's becoming a badge of honor. As you launch, you have to do this. And if it's paid, is it just a bit fake? So we have worked with influencers that reach out to us. They found out our project and they said, we really love what you're doing, we want to help. And that is a great relationship, but you don't know what every community is doing and every piece that they're putting out. And there's these generic NFT news sites or Instagram pages, and they are paid thousands of dollars per post. So they're just posting anything because it's just business for them. And so how do you know if they are really into the community or not? And I think when we see it work and it work well is when, say, a celebrity or a football star or a musician really gets into the space. And I'll call out a few: Steve Aoki and Snoop Dogg and Paris Hilton. These people are genuinely in the space. There's no two ways about it. They talk about it at every opportunity they can. They take over their own Instagram feeds. They commit to it. They've changed their profile pictures to NFTs. They genuinely are in the space. You can see what they've sold and bought, and they're doing so many different activations in different metaverses, and it's huge, wide ranging what they're doing. It's not just you've paid me to do this, I've done a post and now on to business as usual. And I think when the activation is like that with them, then you're sort of you're in a good spot. But these other influencers, if you just see them doing one sort of post over here of NFTs and then they kind of go quiet, is that they just been paid like they're promoting a new lipstick or something, and you don't really know. So like the real world, I think these influencers, take it with a pinch of salt. They might not really be into the project. They might just be getting a decent check. So do your own research.
Summing up, we assisted to scams like the Fire Festival that is visible on Netflix if you want. So your resume of the situation is that the difference between the traditional web or web 2.0 from the web 3.0, where the NFTs are can happen. And in every case, you need to spend your time to verify. It's like the fake news, the fake news. You need to verify every time if effectively the project is serious or not.
100%. That's it. And just, you know, some projects have incredible artists, incredible marketers, but they don't maybe have the roadmap. And that's where it's dodgy. They've got this huge song and dance and it looks very, very sexy. And you're like, yes, this looks legit. But it's just, you know, you got to do the research. Don't be fooled by the bright lights of some of the projects.
And for a brand, we talk about the fact that there is a lot of exchange with the community. There's effectively the co-creation applied finally into something that can be considered a common project. How do you suggest to approach correctly this space to a brand?
Look, I think brands could do this on their own. They can put up NFTs on their own website relatively easily, and hope they sell. But I have very strong concerns if they do this. Their community won't even know what it is. If they're not educating and they're not talking the language, it's not likely to be a success. So if they partner with an NFT community, or if they specifically can hire resource internally to manage this, then great. But not every brand has this capacity. They're just trying to design and put the next collection out. So, you know, for example, we saw Gucci put out a Discord channel, and they had hundreds of thousands sign up that first week, but they only did this one drop, and now who knows what the next drop is going to be. They're probably working on it, but no one has any idea. And so, you know, we've seen this Discord channel in a couple of weeks, less than half, because people leave. They want the community. And just because you're a big brand, you can't just go, well, we've got millions of followers in the real world and millions of revenue in the real world. We can just do this. It's not that easy. You need community, you need to be authentic, you need to have regular information that you're teasing out, you need to have community managers that are solely employed to coach and moderate and keep the energy going in this space, and have regular drops and exciting activations for many different people to participate, you know, not just the millionaires. You know, you want to be attracting lots of different people in the space, and you need strategy to appeal to all of those. You can't just put something up and then go quiet for 6 months like we're seeing a lot of people do, because it's just a bit money grabbing and it's not very authentic. So I think we recommend brands to really dedicate, commit authentically. Don't just experiment, because who wants to buy an experiment? They want to see this is commitment. This is, we really take this space seriously. You know, people that have done this well are Nike and Adidas. You know, Nike acquired Artifact. They scanned the market. Who are the best? They bought the best. And now they're building God knows what, something very exciting, I'm sure, behind the scenes. Adidas had a similar strategy. They partnered with some of the biggest NFT communities. They didn't want to just put something out themselves, and so they've really tried to be strategic. And I think those are the brands that they get the space and are going to win, because they're not just going, we're going to put something up, we can trust our brand in the real world and it will sell. Because the NFT community don't want that. They want to feel special. They want this kind of VIP treatment, and it's a bit different. So I think the brands that commit to that will be the ones that succeed.
Let me ask a follow-up on this, because let's say I am a brand and I've heard of the space, but I have no clue about the space, which is probably very likely. Okay. And let's also open a parenthesis. A lot of, let's say, brands still have this passive aggressive Facebook and Twitter and Instagram approach, where, you know, they dump stuff. I have 1 million followers, and then suddenly there's nothing happening for like months, and then we have no engagement. and they are still surprised. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
if you are a brand and you know nothing about the space, why should I enter the NFT? Why should I do work with Neuno?
Well, the opportunity is just so huge. And I think I genuinely believe with all my heart, whether they come with us or anyone else, the revenue streams that brands and the business model and the longevity of the communities in this space that will come with you and back you is far wider reaching than how business is being done today. I genuinely think NFTs will provide bigger revenue streams and bigger growth in terms of community and things like this than physical products in the next 5-10 years. It's going to be in your omni-channel and it will probably be your biggest driver. So if you're not actively trying to strategize, hire, learn, you will be left behind, because the brands that are doing it and are embracing it now, even the smaller brands, they are the ones that are going to survive. I think the next generations and different markets that really embrace this, you're just going to be completely cut out of that space. So it's a complete risk to think you're above the space. It's too big. It's too big a movement.
I understand, and that makes sense. That's the size of the pie in 5-10 years is gonna be huge. What's in it for me today? Because the size of the pie, it's also a question mark. No, we think it's gonna be huge, but
I mean, well, last year's sales of NFTs, has been in the billions. So it's for today, it's about just starting to build your community, and start with authenticity and start with regular drops. And the payoff is you're going to be building this tribe, and you're going to be establishing yourself in different worlds. Perhaps you buy land and you're building experiences, activations and events. And you're just going to slowly be coaching this new community. And you might have community over here, but you don't have a crypto community. And let's bring the crypto community into your space and get them excited about you. That's the opportunity today.
Okay, so it should be part of your overall metaverse strategy, basically. It's like learn, build, and then
it's like
figure it out.
Export in a new country. You will recollect all the information, you make your analysis, you study the behavior of your potential customers.
Except that the country doesn't exist yet in this case.
The country effectively,
it's changing every day.
Built.
we have to consider that nowadays many people think that just Generation Z is in the metaverse. Effectively, it's not, because the gamers are gamers at every kind of age, including yours and older people like that. Probably the consumers of fashion tech tend to be a little bit more younger. But it depends, because it's like the personalization of your identity in a parallel world. So it's the freedom that you cannot express in the real world. So you are probably more available to build up something that normally you never buy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Betty, your question next.
We can say that the market of fashion tech works with different logics, but takes similar structures of the standard market of fashion garments. If you have a marketplace, how does it work in all this particular market, and how the buyers can quote, resell, how can they do their own business?
Yes, so we have a look at what the product is. Is it a real product that we're making a digital twin, or is it just a digital only item? we put this up for sale, and it's much like e-commerce site. You know, you come on, you can have a look at the product and have a look at the different utilities. So what can I do with this NFT? Can I wear it in a game? Can I take it as a Snapchat filter? Can I do all sorts of different, can I make it an AR? We decide obviously with the brand what each utility is. And then if the customer wants to buy, it goes into their wallets. We obviously have connections with OpenSea, and we will look to all the major other marketplaces, because Web3 is very, very, what's the word? Easy to transport your, you know, we don't want any blockers. So we really want the consumer to take that asset wherever they want to take it. We don't want to control anything there. So we want it to be as free as possible. You can have your asset, and if you are looking to just make money and invest, and you know you're going to take this and flip it, you will put it up for sale and resell it, much like on eBay when you want to resell something. And you can choose the price, you can say whether or not you want it to be an auction, and you choose the date when this is closed, and the person can put it up and see what offers come in and accept, and then they can make money. Or if it's someone that really wants to hold the item and they just want to experience it and use it, they will take this into a game, they will wear it, they will show it off, and then maybe that later they might sell it. So we have lots of different types of buyers, and we just want to make it as easy as possible for all the different types of buyers. Are you holding it? Are you wearing it? Are you experiencing it? Or are you selling it on? So it depends.
Okay, but in this sense, your business model is Neuno, is market making, or what it is?
We have a website where we will sell the primary sales for the product. So we like to control that first experience. People that come on our website, they trust us. They know that we work directly with brands. We don't just put up, you know, a Louis Vuitton shoe and say it's Louis Vuitton. We work directly with the brands, and we work directly, and that's all verified. So we control that primary experience, and then the customer can take that to the different marketplaces. So we have our own marketplace as well, launching once we have enough product. There's no point in putting up a marketplace with just one item on it to start with. So we wait until we have a few more products, and then there'll be a Neuno marketplace if people want to stay on our platform and trade on there as well. We don't mind, either is fine for us.
Clear. Betty?
What is the opportunity here for a brand and the artist or the creator?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of successful mints and sales of NFTs when artists and brands do a big collaboration. So they come together, and maybe they're highlighting it's a crypto artist or an NFT artist, or maybe it's someone in a minority, maybe it's a female artist that they want to highlight, or they come from a particular cause that's aligned with the brand. And we see these completely new dedicated collections that are NFTs. And I think it's really a great way of exposing a brand new artist that might never get the right exposure, but the brand can come in and sort of safely expose this artist in the NFT space. So the opportunity is the brands can do digital only products. They can highlight a specific cause in this digital world. They can highlight and bring to the forefront a smaller artist or something they would never really consider in the real world. And they can do it in the safe NFT space. You know, we're seeing huge collections like Ferocious is an artist that's had things now sold in Sotheby's and made huge name for themselves, which is really fantastic to see. This was someone who was struggling and, you know, didn't have money to pay rent, and now was partnered up with Artifact, and now they've gone on to become a well-established artist in their own right. So this is what the power of the NFT space can do. And then for the artists, if they get to partner with a big brand successfully, you know, it's exposure and credibility. So there's been a big case where this wasn't done in partnership, like there's an artist, Rothschild, that put out something with Hermes bags, but it was nothing to do with Hermes, and it's not ended particularly well for either party, because both feel wronged by the process. So if I'm a bit torn on the situation. I see the artist's point of view and I see the brand's point of view. But, you know, I think if you really want success, we don't want these question marks. We want both people to win, and it's best to come together authentically and make sure everyone is signed off. The benefits are both the artist and the brand can be written into the smart contracts. They both can literally be having the revenues of this directly into their own wallets. So, you know, I'd love to see a world in the future with brands. Imagine if you were a designer working in one of these big fashion houses, and it was your design of your particular bag that went on to then become this iconic timepiece. You know, you should be written into the smart contract, as well as the brand, as well as all the other people. So I think we forget that there's actually artists within staff of these luxury houses in the ateliers. You know, it's the nonnas that are there sewing these garments for hours, and they are really the artisans that should be written into these contracts. Look, it would be hard to do that from day one with brands, because they can be quite particular, but in the future, this is where I really would love to see our smart contracts go to. True decentralization. This
Exactly.
is true decentralization.
And I think probably it's a bigger opportunity from emerging brands and emerging artisans in their perspective.
They are much more open and flexible and nimble to change, and they really have that thinking already of no, we can all take a piece of the pie and we can all win together. They already are that mindset, I think. Yeah.
I think the co-creation, it's a part of being when you deal with a community, you know, much more for newer emerging brands than Maison that have 100 years of history in that sense.
Many doesn't think the fact that it's also responding to ESG obligations that a brands must adhere today in their vision and mission to the market.
Yeah, I think it's that, but it's also, you know, when a lot of fashion brands where the brand is still managed by the designer is going to be the only one taking certain decisions. You know what I mean? And everybody else follows, which is probably, you know, it's the most typical inside out approach. It's the creative approach. And, you know, it boils down to executing that strategy. Whether it makes money or not, we've seen a lot of that actually not making money in the past. So that's a long story. But let's go back to Neuno. Where are you? What's next for you? Are you raising funds? What's happening?
So we are in the middle, as we speak, of our launch. So we have an alpha drop, which is a membership to our community, and this will be limited to 3,000 pieces. We've broken it up into a few different days depending on what we're targeting of the community, and it's very exciting and going well. And then once this has happened, we now start to bring the brands on. So we have a nice pipeline of activity at the moment going till June. And we just hope to snowball and build on that and release more exciting events, hopefully in person, depending on what's happening in the world. And in terms of fundraising, I'm so torn with this because we need money to deliver what we want to deliver as a business, but raising money from venture capitalists is not, you know, Web3. And so I'm torn in this moment of what we are doing. We are looking to consider one, maybe at the beginning of April. So we'll see. However, I would much prefer to raise funds with the community and do things directly with people that want to back us. It's just a much more liberating way to do business. And, you know, when I didn't start a business to work for the man, and as soon as, you know, you get VCs, it's like, well, hang on, I'm now working for the man again. So it's kind of that that mental challenge I have. So I am open to tokenomics, but then again, the thought of thousands of people trying to drive the company forward makes me a bit anxious, because I have a very clear vision that I want to help bring to the world. So yes, it's weighing all these things up.
Yeah, I think that's what is being an entrepreneur. That's what you need to deal with.
Yeah, the roller coaster.
Betty, any final questions or remark?
Oh, I assume that it's difficult to stay genuine to your initial idea when you have to cope with building a company. But
Yes.
definitely, you are probably also the multi-brand of the future in this space of non-tangible assets and also fashion with the double twins.
We certainly hope so.
Cool. Betty, thank you very much for the introduction. Natalie, it was great to talk to you. Best of luck with Neuno, and let's keep in touch. So maybe, you come back on the show in the future and tell us all about new project and exciting developments. Thank you.
Would love. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.